Hello, welcome to Excel Tips by the HR Diary. The SUMIF function, also known as Excel conditional sum, is used to add up cell values based on a certain criteria. In this video, I will demonstrate how to use Excel's SUMIF formula using these 7 examples. This is the formula for SUMIF. The SUMIF formula has 3 parts: the range, the criteria, and the sum range. The range are the cells that you want evaluated by the criteria. Criteria is the condition that defines which cells in the range will be summed. Sum range are the actual cells to sum. If you omit the sum range, then the range will be summed. The criteria can be in the form of a text, a number, a date, a logical expression, or a cell reference. And close all criteria with double quotation marks, except for cell references. Cell references should be used without the double quotation marks. In my first example, SUMIF equal. A SUMIF formula with equal to criteria works for both numbers and text. In this example, I want to get the total salary for a specific title called associate. If you see the total salary for associate, if I were to highlight these cells, you can see the sum is 3,900. To use the SUMIF formula, type equal SUMIF, open bracket, then now you need the range. So I will select the range of cells here, which is the titles, and then click on the comma and type open quotation mark and type the criteria for the range. So my criteria is associate. Close quotation mark, comma. Next, select the sum range. So my sum range is here. So I'll select the salary and close the bracket. When you hit enter, you get the sum 3,900, which is the same here. 3,900 for associate salary. Now, instead of typing the word associate, you can replace associate with a cell reference, like here, associate. I have the it type here. So to do this, I will delete this associate here and click on this cell, M5. So when you hit enter, again, you get 3,900 for associate salaries. So I've shown you how to get it using the SUMIF formula. So instead of remembering and typing the SUMIF formula manually, you can use the SUMIF function. So now let's delete this and try again using the SUMIF function. To use the SUMIF function, go to here and click on insert function. Then in this box here, you type SUMIF. Click on go. And then the SUMIF appears here. Click on it and click OK. The SUMIF function tells you exactly what you need to enter. So you can see it tells you need to enter the range, the criteria, and the sum, right? So if you're unsure what is the range, you can just look here. It will tell you what the range is. So the range is the range of cells you want evaluated. For me, I will select the cells in the column title. So I click here and I select here. Next, criteria. Criteria is the condition that defines which cells will be summed. So I will select associate because I want to sum associate. You can also type in associate. Next, sum range are the actual cells that you want to sum. If you omit this, the cells in the range will be summed. Here, I will select the cells in the salary column, which is here. And then I will click OK. Nope, sorry. I spelled the word associate wrongly. So we can correct it here. Associate should be spelled as ASSOCIATE. And then we click enter. So you get the formula here. All right. So if you notice it, the number is 3900. So the sum for associate is 3900. Now let's go to the example 2. Sum if not equal to. For sum if not equal to, you need to use this operator. To find a total salary of all grades except for grade 1. So you don't want grade 1, you want the salary for grade 2 to grade 3, which is here. This is the formula to use. So you type equal sum if, open bracket, then you select the grade column, which is D5 to D13 here, put a comma, open bracket, and then type these two in, comma, and then select this cell and close the bracket and hit enter. So when you hit enter, you get the sum 2,800. Alright, this is the total salary for all grades except grade 1. So you do want grade 1. So the total salary for all grades except grade 1 is here, which is 2,800, and it appears here. Now, instead of typing 1, so if your criteria is in another cell, so this is what you need to type, all right? You type equal sum if, open bracket, then you select the column here, put a comma, okay, and the key thing is you type this n, and then you pick the cell, which is M6, comma, and select the salary column, close bracket. Again, you get 2,800, which is the salary for grade 2 to grade 3. Right? So what this formula does is it points to M6 here. Next, let's do the third example. Sum if greater than or less than. For sum if greater than less than, you need to use these logical operators here. Right? Here, you need to use these logical operators. So if I want to sum up the salary numbers for grades more than 1, which is the salary for grades 2 to 3, which is here, this is the formula to type in. Equal sum if, open bracket, and then I select the range to be evaluated by the criteria, which is here, and I type a comma, open bracket, greater than 1 close bracket, comma, and then I select the cells to sum and close the bracket. So when I hit enter, I get the sum 2,800. All right. So when the criteria is in another cell, like for example here, so what you need to do is you put greater than, you delete this one, and then you type the word N and type in the cell, which is, or you can point to the cell which is here, M6. And you click enter, and you get 2,800. So if I were to change this criteria to 2, this number to 2, you'll notice that this number will change because this is now referencing to this cell. So if I type in 2, the number changes to 19,000. All right. So what this is saying is it was sum if the column AD, which is the grade, sum if the grade column AD is greater than M6, which is grade 2. So if it's greater than grade 2, it will sum in column F, which is here. All right. So greater than grade 2, it means it will sum all the grade 3. And the salary for all the grade 3 is 19,000, which is exactly here, 19,000. Now let's move on to the fourth example. Sum if not blank. For sum if not blank, you need to use this logical operator. This will add up all cells that contain anything in them. To sum salary where the column title is not blank, type this formula, equal sum if, open bracket, then I select this column for my range, comma, and my criteria, I want this criteria, comma, and then select the sum range, which is here, close bracket, and hit enter. And when you hit enter, you get this value, 31900. So this formula tells you to sum if your range is not blank. So my range is in column C here. None of it is blank. All right. None of it is blank. So it sums the entire range, and the salary is 31900. So if I were to delete the last cell in the column here, if I were to delete this, you will see that the number drops because there's now a blank. So now let's delete this. You will see this number drop. So the number drops to 23900. Right? So now let's put this back. And go to example 5. Now I want to do sum if blank. For sum if blank, you need to use double quotation mark here as the criteria. So this is the formula. You type equals sum if, open bracket, and I select the grade column as my range, followed by comma, and I type in the double quotation mark, comma, and select the range to sum, which is here, and enter. So I get a 0. I get a 0 because none of the cells in my range, my column D, are blank. All right. That's why I get I get a 0. All right. So if I were to delete this number 3, it will put in 8,000 there. So let's try. When I delete this, sorry, there's something wrong in my formula. column D. All right. So sorry. So the there should not be a space there, right? So this is the formula to use. There should not be a space in your double quotation marks, right? So again, if I type in 3, it becomes 0 because none of the cells in my criteria are blank. Next, let's go to example 6. Sum if with date. For sum if with date, you need a date format that Excel understands. If you want to sum the salary of date join after 1st January 2021, this is the formula to use. Equals sum if, open bracket, and then you type, select the date column as my range, right? I want the date this time. Then you click on to comma, and the criteria, I put it has to be greater than 1st Jan 2021, right? And I select the cell to sum, and I close the bracket. So the sum is this amount, 17,900. So because I wanted to sum, how to read this formula again? So it tells me to sum if this range here is greater than 2021. So I want then 1st January 2021. So I want the year 2022. When it is year 2022, it will sum the salary here. So what is the salary of this here? If I were to select here, the salary is 17,900, which is exactly here. All right. So next, then okay. So you can also put in the formula. If you want a target date, you want it to link to this date. Instead of typing in the date here, you can reference to this cell. So how do you do it? So you type equal sum if, open bracket, and then you select all the dates. This is your range. And you put a comma. And type in this formula and you point to this reference cell, comma, and then you select the salary range here. From here to here, and you close the bracket and enter. Again, you get 17,900. So if I go to look at here, it is 17. Sorry, here it is 17,900. Now let's try the last example 7. Sum if with wildcard. To conditionally sum cells by partial match, you will need to include an asterisk in your criteria. So if you want to sum the salary for all managers, including senior managers, you need to put an asterisk before the word manager. So here's the formula. Equal sum if, open bracket, and then you select the column here. All right. So this is the column with the managers there. And type a comma, open bracket, put an asterisk and type the word manager there. And close bracket, close this, put a comma, and select the cells that you want it to sum, which is here. And you close the bracket. All right. So now, when you hit the enter, you will get the sum 2,000, 28,000. This 28,000 is here. 28,000. It is the sum of all the manager and senior manager because you use the wildcard. All right, that's it. I hope you find it useful and that you know how to use the SUMIF in Excel. Thanks for watching Excel Tricks by the HR Diary. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the HR Diary channel.